Best standard gauge railways in Africa. A standard gauge railway is a railway with a track gauge of 1,435 mm or 1.4 meters. The standard gauge is also called the Stephenson gauge, named after George Stephenson's pioneer Liverpool and Manchester line in 1829, which was exported from Britain to Europe and then the United States, with the export of British locomotives built to it. As effective and helpful as this mode of locomotion has proven to be over the decades, Africa is still beginning to pick up the pace in constructing, updating, and maintaining old gauges to have one-off standards. Ghana, for example, has approved a 2006 proposal for upgrade and expansion to convert its 1067 mm narrow gauge to a 1435 mm standard gauge, and dual gauge sleepers are being installed to facilitate the conversion to standard gauge in the country. In 2015, a 30-kilometer line from Sekondi to Takoradi was reopened, having been rebuilt to standard gauge, and similar treatment is proposed for the Accra to Nsawam and Kumasi to Ejisu lines. In 2018, a feasibility study commenced for a new line from the present northern terminus of Kumasi to Paga, on the border of Burkina Faso, where it would meet a new line from Ouagadougou. Contracts for the construction of the first 100 km from Kumasi to Techiman were let in 2019, and in the same year, construction began on a new 85-km standard gauge line from Tema through Accra to Mpakadan, which as of early 2021 was announced to be 80% complete. In 2019, Ghana Railway Company began an extensive program of rehabilitation of rundown parts of their narrow gauge network, as feasibility study was initiated into a new tram system for Kumasi. Work on the 99-km Tema Akosombo Mpakadan line is ongoing and nearing completion after a 3-month hiatus due to a number of workers contracting COVID-19. Not all countries have been able to catch on this trend, and even those who have cannot brag about standing out with their railways. Hello explorers! In this video we shall shine the light on the best standard gauge railways in Africa using the Stephenson parameters. If you're new here, welcome! Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Number 1. Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway. The Mombasa-Nairobi Standard Gauge Railway is a standard gauge railway (SGR) in Kenya that connects the large Indian Ocean city of Mombasa with Nairobi, the country's capital and largest city. This SGR runs parallel to the narrow gauge Uganda Railway that was completed in 1901 under British colonial rule. The East African Railway Master Plan provides for the Mombasa-Nairobi SGR to link with other SGRs being built in the East African community. At the cost of $3.6 billion, the SGR is Kenya's most expensive infrastructure project since independence. The prime contractor was the China Road and Bridge Corporation, CRBC, which hired 25,000 Kenyans to work on the railway. CRBC's holding company, China Communications Construction Company, is contracted to operate the line for its first 5 years. An extension from Nairobi to Naivasha was completed in October 2019, making the line's length to approximately 578.8 kilometers. Commercial freight services began on 1 January 2018, and passenger uptake has exceeded expectations, with the train carrying 2 million riders in the first 17 months of operation. By November 2018, the SGR was operating 30 freight trains and 4 passenger trains per day. Kenya is a member of the Northern Corridor Integration Project, NCIP, which has selected the Chinese National Railway Class 1 standard for its railways. The adoption of a common standard allows for seamless integration between the railways of NCIP countries. Number 2. Lagos-Kano Standard Gauge Railway. After Nigeria became independent from Great Britain, the colonial-era railways progressively fell into a state of disrepair. Passenger traffic on the Nigerian railways fell from 11 million in 1964 to 1.6 million in 2003. Freight traffic almost collapsed, falling from 3 million tons in 1964 to less than 100,000 tons in 2000. In early 2013, it took 31 hours for passenger trains to travel between Lagos and Kano at an average speed of just 45 kilometers per hour. Although projects have begun to rehabilitate the Cape Gauge railways, economic growth in Nigeria has made the standard gauge line desirable. Hence, in 2006, the Nigerian government awarded an $8.3 billion contract to the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation to construct a standard gauge railway from Lagos to Kano. Due to an inability to secure funding for the whole project, the Nigerian government decided to build the standard gauge line in segments and rehabilitate the narrow gauge line in the meantime. The Lagos-Kano Standard Gauge Railway is a 1,343 kilometers long standard gauge railway under construction in Nigeria. Once complete, it is expected to connect the country's two largest cities, the Atlantic Ocean port of Lagos in the southwest and Kano near the border with Niger in the north, by way of the third largest city, Ibadan, also in the southwest, and the national capital, Abuja, in the center. The railway will run parallel to the British Belt Cape Gauge line, which has a lower design capacity and is in a deteriorated condition. The railway is being built in segments, and the segment between Abuja and Kaduna officially opened in July 2016. The segment between Lagos and Ibadan began limited passenger operations on December 7, 2020. Number 3. Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway. The Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway is a new standard gauge international railway that serves as the backbone of the new Ethiopian National Railway network. The 1,435mm railway was inaugurated by Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn on January 1, 2018 and provides landlocked Ethiopia with access to the sea, linking Ethiopia's capital of Addis Ababa with Djibouti and its port of Durale. More than 95% of Ethiopia's trade passes through Djibouti, accounting for 70% of the activity at the port of Djibouti. The total railway capacity is 24.9 million tons of freight annually, with 6 million tons annually expected in 2023. These plans are accompanied by construction works at the port of Durale to expand the annual cargo handling capacity from 6 to 14 million tons, with the aim of reaching 10 million tons of cargo by 2022. The Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway runs roughly parallel to the old metal gauge Ethio-Djibouti Railway for most of its length. However, the standard gauge railway is built on a new straighter right-of-way that allows for much higher speeds. New stations have been built outside city centers, and most of the old railway stations have been decommissioned. There were 68 viaducts and bridges, comprising 3% of the railway's total length, but there are no tunnels. The total length of the railway line is 759 kilometers, of which 754 kilometers are running between the two terminal stations at Sebeta and the port of Durale. The remaining 5 kilometers are for shunting operations. A total of 666 kilometers of the railway line is in Ethiopia, while a total of 93 kilometers is in Djibouti. The 115-kilometer section from Sebeta to Adama is the only double-track section of the line, and it also has the highest grades with a net elevation loss of 650 meters. It features several viaducts with lengths of up to 800 meters, while the remainder of the railway is single-track, with passing loops distributed evenly along its length. The Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway project provided lessons for other railway projects in Ethiopia, such as the Awash-Hara Gebeya Railway and the Hara Gebeya-Mekele Railway construction projects, which are also standard gauge railways currently under construction. Number 4. The Gautrain Rapid Transit Railway. Gautrain is an 80-kilometer commuter rail system in Gauteng, South Africa, which links Johannesburg, Pretoria, Ekurhuleni, and OR Tambo International Airport. The service offers a fast, convenient, safe, and efficient public transport service. It takes 15 minutes to travel from Santon to OR Tambo International Airport on Gautrain, and 35 minutes from Pretoria to Tshwane to Park Station in Johannesburg. Although the national railway network in South Africa uses 1067 millimeters to minimize costs such as gauge, Gautrain is built with a more expensive international standard gauge of 1435 millimeters. According to the Gautrain Planning and Implementation Study, this is done for several reasons, including that broader gauge is safer and more comfortable for passengers. The rolling stock is also easier, quicker, and less expensive to obtain than Cape Gauge rolling stock, and is also less expensive to maintain, as it is more tolerant of track imperfections than Cape Gauge. The 1435mm gauge allows for travel at Gautrain's required speed of 160 km per hour. The overhead line voltage is 25 kV alternating current, as is standard in many countries. Although increased flexibility could be obtained by keeping the system interoperable with South African railway system, a strong case exists for keeping Gautrain separate from the existing network. According to the Gautrain Planning and Implementation Study, an interoperable network may impact service delivery, increase the operating cost, and tarnish Gautrain's image. The project is the largest and costliest transport infrastructure project ever proposed by the provincial government, but was never discussed in the Gauteng provincial legislature or submitted to any significant public debate before it was approved and put out to tender. Constructed at the cost of almost $3.7 billion in 2005, the national and provincial government contributed most of the money, while Bombela contributed the balance of direct project cost. The first part of the system, between Santon and OR Tambo International Airport, opened to the public on 8 June 2010, just in time for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, while the routes from Rosebank to Pretoria and Hatfield commenced operations on 2 August 2011. The remaining section from Rosebank South to Johannesburg Park Station opened on 7 June 2012 due to a higher than anticipated underground water ingress into the railway tunnel. For the first time ever since its opening to the public in 2010, the Gautrain system had been put to hold since 27th of March 2020 as part of the lockdown measures taken by the South African government during the COVID-19 pandemic, but passenger services started to progressively resume as of 4th May 2020. There you have it, explorers. Those were the best standard gauge railway lines in Africa, but there are so many still under construction. If you would like a video on the best ongoing standard gauge railways in Africa, let us know in the comment section and we will do well to bring you that video. Thanks for watching this video, and if you did enjoy it, do well to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.